Good evening. I am glad to be back, though I really had enjoyable holiday with a bad back 1 week and a bad neck another week. But I think I'm physically okay again, ready to get back to my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 5 p.m. Live with Tony broadcast. So thank you for staying with me and hanging in there with me on these, and coming back in 2021, which then brings me to what I want to cover and talk about a little bit in my first Live with Tony for the year 2021. But first I want to go back to 2020 quickly and talk about some of the really good things that happened with the USA Memory Championship. I think we were delighted with the reception we had from Lumosity and MIT, and creatively figured out how we were going to conduct a virtual memory competition, which we did on November 14th, and had some fun with that and collaborated with that. And now we keep our fingers crossed that we get to do a qualifying event on virtual somewhere in the May-June time period, and we get back into live by October of this year now, 2021. So that's one of the things that came out of 2020 that was great. It grew a branch, and it gave us a lead into 2021. The next thing we did in 2020 was we had the USA Memory Championship Live with Tony broadcasts. So I started those earlier in 2020 and really enjoyed doing them. It was something that for me kept me going. I enjoyed doing them. It gave context to the reading that I do. And I enjoyed, on a continual basis, sending out some of the messages I was learning about things that we could do for our memories, things we could do for our overall brain health, our learning capacities, and things of that sort. So I really enjoyed doing Facebook broadcasts, which I never had done before. So the fact that I got started and I just kept going through the year was fun. I enjoyed it, and I really appreciated the feedback that I get from people that were listening to them, the comments and suggestions. So, and some occasionally personal emails that would come to adottino@aol.com. So that's adottino@aol.com for people that wanted to have pick up the phone and have maybe a personal conversation of goodness and something I could do to make a difference and help, which is what this work is all about. How do we help people make a difference in their lives? In 2020, we conducted a live series of seminars called the Brain Power Series, and we did that at one of our hospital locations here in Daytona, Florida. And that was well received by the people that attended that. We had well over 100 people that attended that, and that we were off, man. That was terrific. It happened in the early part of the year. We started it off in January, February, and by March we were shut down. But it was good that we started it because it showed us that there was a need and a value that we could bring to the communities that address people's concerns about their overall brain health, and that would consist of not just doing memory training or teaching people how to do memory skills and build their memory skills, but it showed us that there were more elements, and we taught more elements connected to it than that which was just connected to memory training and memory skills, which then led us to the creation of a second course that we're going to be featuring in our online world. So right now we have Maximum Memory Mastery online, and that's done well in 2020. We'll continue that in 2021, but we're adding 2 additional courses to the online program, and to the demand of people that are asking us, what, from your broadcast and from what we've seen in the work we did in the first quarter of 2020, people want to know what can they do to maintain brain health, and how can they not just improve their memories, but their overall health of their brains, which then got us into learning more and more about exercising and how exercise is so important to us, and more and more about sleep and depression and anxiety that we're all struggling with during the COVID quarantines. But how do we be more aggressive about not succumbing to those things and maintaining a level of energy and liveliness and optimism that we can all work to be smart and bring us forward into 2021 and beyond. So we have a brain power workshop that Michael Vatino has worked on over the Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, and he's working now to do the recordings and get that up and going online. So that was another good thing that came out of 2020, along with a course he's going to develop as his third leg on learning to learn. And how do you take these elements of maximum memory and brain health and merge them together to really enhance your ability to learn and create and innovate and just find a better version of who you might want to be if you want to be able to do that. And so that was a good thing that came out of 2020 that will move into one of the things we'll talk about for 2021. So I took a position mentally to say, in this point of quarantine, and realizing that the live workshops and the ability to get out and put people in rooms and teach them in the community centers and things was not going to happen. And the more I studied about it in the April, May time periods, the more I concluded this was going to be a full year deal, and my bigger fear, which is being realized, it will also continue into 2021. And so mindset, mental set, is you had to start to get people, at least the folks that I associated with and talked to, whatever, to start thinking beyond that this was going to be a 3-month project and being. This pandemic is going to turn out to be much longer than that, and we got to be smart for the long term. And therefore, we're adapting along the way. Sometimes we're adapting out of sheer, there's no choice, but I wanted to be more proactive in that. And so as I thought about it, I said, well, gee, one thing I could easily adapt to is my nutritional habits. And so very aggressive in my nutrition and what I've done. I was able to lose some pounds, which was good for my health. I got the best doctor results this year than I've ever had doing telemed. But more importantly, I could control more of my eating habits and more of what I ate and looking at labels and things of that sort. Another one I was able to do is exercise. So I go out and run 4 days a week. I do weightlifting 3 days. I'm saying, wow, I've read enough in the science journals on how important those types of activities are to our overall physical health, but more importantly to our mental health. So when I've hit the wall a few times with the COVID stresses and things, I go out and run for 10, 15, sometimes a half hour. And I just find that running just changes my whole thinking pattern, but it also helps me with my overall body and my mental fitness. And then last but not least, Michael Vatino was introduced to the Brain Fitness Academy, and actually as of tomorrow, we'll be again teaching a group of seniors something called brain fitness, and how do you maintain that fitness when being diagnosed with early mild cognitive impairment. So now we go and we flip from 2020. It could have been a disaster of a year, but you know, if you put the right mindset to this and keep yourself in the holistic view of it, we're here. So for all of us that are here, despite the sadness of those that have passed, we've got to move into 2021 with an aggressive, assertive, proactive mindset that really keeps us going through as the vaccines are being developed and the science has explored opportunities. We've got Pfizer and Moderna that have been coming out into the U.S., and I actually got my vaccine last Tuesday. My other half was like right on the laptop as soon as our mayor announced the portal, and she was on that in like nanoseconds, and we got our registration, took our shots, and we want more and more people to get them. We want to encourage anybody as you get into the various counties and states and cities that you live in. Boy, the more I've read about this vaccine and the uniqueness of it, the power of it, the more encouraged I am. As I think our scientists in the world have really helped us find something that's going to deal with this pandemic and hopefully just wipe it out. But that's going to take time because there's not enough vaccines, and there's additional studies that are being done and trial groups that are coming out. And how long should that go on? And what's going to happen in 2021 is going to take months. It's not going to be done in the next 30 days because just manufacturing and shipping and implementation of it is not going to happen overnight. So we go into 2021. I want people to think in 6 months, think 6 months out. And we're not going back to normal. I talked to some of my hospital friends over the last few days. Hospitals are being overwhelmed. People have let their guard down because they're craving for social interaction. We've talked about that in our maximum memory. So one of the things we want to work on in 2021 is how do we get more people to recognize the value of social interaction and take some of the teachings from the maximum memory mastery and put that into the brain health and expand that and let people take control over their social interactions, because the Christmas and holiday season has clearly blown out the message to people that they want to be interactive with other humans. They don't want to be quarantined anymore. So how do we do that and do that smartly, and how do we use it and do it without putting ourselves in jeopardy? And now burying our hospital staff, people who have been through this for a whole year now, and not wear them out. And so how do we enhance maximum memory? How do we pull some of that out and explode it into the brain health? And then the National Science Foundation grant was approved, and MIT's got the funding for that, and we pray that by July that we can get kids back up into a school environment where we can begin doing work through a National Science Foundation grant on how you can take the skills that we've learned from 22 years of the memory competition and bring them into academia and make a difference in teaching kids things that will help them to learn, create, innovate, be socially active throughout their whole lives. So that's and then of course we're planning for the USA Memory Championship live in the October time period at MIT. So we've got a number of things that we're going forward with. Brain Fitness Academy, the USA Memory Championships, new website, and ads on the Brain Power series. And we're reaching out to different institutions, maybe it's going to be assisted living, and say, where can we offer to people a level of hope, a level of bringing in new mental challenges that are going to offset some of the depression and anxiety that people have built up over a really challenging 2020, and make 2021 a year of success, a year of finding new avenues of life and bringing some of that energy and resource back to it. I know here in Orlando, and living 10 minutes away from the Magic Kingdom, 20 minutes away from Universal Studios, it's not been easy for the theme park business and people going out trying to have fun. But regardless of it, it's not worth having fun today and paying for it with sickness tomorrow, especially as we learn more and more about this terrible pandemic we've all had to go through. So as I close and say, our goal is to get to the other side, meaning how do we stay smart and safe? Masking, hand washing, social distancing, I think we've all heard that to the point where some of us just resist it for the sake of resisting. But those are the things that are going to be smart and keep us well, because I want all of us to get to the other side, and I want each of you to be able to listen to Live with Tony whenever you so desire you want to do that, and make a difference in your lives. If there's something we can do to help add to that, we're all open to it. Have a good evening. Welcome back. Happy New Year to all of my Live with Tony audience. And I look forward to getting back with you on a regular schedule now that the holidays are gone. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are what I'm looking at in the 5 p.m. time period.